Aloha and welcome to This Is Now. We begin today with a tragedy in Waikiki as two bodies were found inside a burned building that went up in flames over the weekend.
Yeah, residents we spoke with say they had just mere minutes to escape the fire. You can see the smoke billowing from the two-story building on Kilauea Drive near Hobron Lane. HFD crews were sent there just after 3 p.m. yesterday, and the fire was quickly elevated to 3 alarms. A neighboring hotel was evacuated as a precaution. It took about 20 minutes to get the fire under control, but not before the building was destroyed. Most of the occupants were able to get out safely, but the two who perished were found inside. Police said the victims were a 78-year-old man and a 68-year-old woman.
I heard my next door neighbor saying, "Fire, get out." So we ran inside, grabbed whatever we could, and ran out. It's an old structure. So yeah, it took like minutes. 5 minutes, it was engulfed already. We pretty much lost everything. For whatever we grabbed out of the fire.
Right now, we are currently trying to assist with the Red Cross to see what the families need, and we're providing space and hotel space for them as well.
Witnesses tell us they heard what sounded like explosions while the fire broke out. A cause has not yet been determined. HPD is currently classifying the case as an unattended death. An investigation is ongoing.
Well, over the weekend, Madam Pelehonua Mea woke up once again as Kilauea is now erupting. Our Casey Lunn takes us to Hawaii Island.
Aloha, a beautiful day here on Hawaii Island, and the lava is contained to Halemaumau crater. The USGS says there's no threat to those communities in the lower East Rift Zone, of course, Leilani Estates, those places that were ravaged by the 2018 eruption. So good news and quite a sight to see. We'll get you down to the lava in just a moment. We also just wanted to show a little bit of the crowds that have been gathering here at Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. Folks from all over, some of them have seen eruptions before, some of them are seeing lava for the very first time. A really special event for so many people, visitors and locals alike.
We was in quite high. We spent the day at the beach, but I seen him on Instagram, so we figured come check him out tonight. Last minute plans, but came out killer. I just wanted to come check him out. I seen him on Instagram. Yeah, worth it. It is beautiful.
We kind of just took a road trip. We're staying in Kona right now, and then we went swimming a bit, and then when we got out of the water, a bunch of the locals were like, "The volcano's erupting right now." So then we ran over here.
I was like so amazed. I didn't expect that. We went to a volcano yesterday, but it was like inactive, and so yeah.
Kendra Lin is a research geologist with the USGS Hawaiian Volcanoes Observatory. She said that right after the eruption is really crucial for their team to collect data and get an idea of what this event is going to look like.
Our morning field crews have done a helicopter overflight to capture photographs and thermal imagery. Later this morning, we'll be able to use those data to calculate the volume of lava that has erupted since the eruption began yesterday.
Well, of course, the cultural significance of Madam Pele returning to Halemaumau crater can't be overstated, but a lot of the folks that are visiting here and seeing her for the first time say it was absolutely worth the trip up the mountain.
I was very happy to see it now because I was here 3 weeks ago, which unfortunately we didn't see anything, and now seeing it, it's absolutely incredible.
So amazing to see Pele back. It's always exciting to get the text from the bosses going, "Time to come up to the summit, you've been summoned." Yeah. But you know, it can also be a little bit of a challenging time. You can see there's a lot of visitors right now. We had an influx of them last night.
It was a gorgeous sunny day here, but a reminder, especially for folks in the Ka'u district, some of those communities downwind, they probably will be dealing with a little bit of fog. We even have to deal with that sometimes on Oahu. Also, the National Park Service is reminding people there's a lot more foot traffic during an eruption event, a lot more people in the park, so slow down if you're planning to come and check out this eruption. Remind yourself to drive drive slowly and look out for more pedestrians on the roadway. Of course, they're also stressing that people view the lava from those safe, legal viewing areas and not getting too close to the crater. Reporting at Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, I'm Casey Lund. For now, we'll send things back to you.
A murder investigation is underway in Kahuku after a body was found in some bushes. HPD was called to the scene on Marconi Road at around 6:45 p.m. Friday evening. We're told the body was in a state of decomposition and it wasn't immediately clear what had happened to the victim. An autopsy determined the victim is a 66-year-old man and the body had multiple stab wounds. The victim's identity has not been released. Anyone with information is urged to call Crime Stoppers at 955-8300.
Over on Kauai, police have issued a warrant for a murder suspect. Chris Santos is wanted in connection with a homicide that happened Thursday evening on Kahili Mountain Road. The 48-year-old is believed to still be on Kauai. If you see Santos, do not approach him. Police say he is considered to be armed and dangerous. Anyone with information is encouraged to call KPD at 241-1711. Now to the latest out of the Valley Isle as the recovery efforts are ongoing following those deadly wildfires over a month ago. 2 more Lahaina wildfire victims have been identified. Floyd St. Clair was 75 years old and Letitia Constantino was 56. Both were from Lahaina. Now, as investigations continue into the government's response the day of the wildfires, more questions are being raised about transparency. Critics worry what the state is calling an independent investigation might not be so independent. HNN has confirmed that the state attorney general will have power to decide what's released to the public, at least initially, but some worry it's a tactic to potentially cover up what really happened. Some lawmakers are now urging the AG to take further steps to ensure transparency.
This is not about the AG nor the administration. In order to adhere to those standards that the families deserve, it's imperative that the AG and the administration and others are removed from the process.
In a statement to Hawaii News Now, the Office of the Attorney General says the AG is committed to a transparent investigation, releasing the reporting to the public, adding, quote, in any investigation, publicly revealing some information prematurely could compromise other aspects of the investigation that remain ongoing. In any investigation, information may be withheld temporarily to protect the integrity of the investigatory process.
That's the soothing voice of Maui police officer Marvin Tevanga. He and his family lost their home in the fires, and he was among the musicians who performed for Malama Maui Day this weekend, organized by the owners of the iconic shave ice shop, Ululani's. Free keiki shave ice was given out. The shop's owner, David Yamashiro, says they wanted to bring comfort to those impacted by the fires. 2 of his shops in Lahaina burned down, but the focus is helping the economy and especially their employees recover.
Because they lost so much, and yet in their heart, still wanting to give and provide. And they did. There's so many of them that lost everything. So what we do is so minuscule in comparison to what I've seen them do.
Yamashiro created a GoFundMe account. 75% of the donations will go to their employees, while 25% will go to Lahaina organizations helping with recovery efforts. To donate, head to ululanisHawaiianshaveIce.com.
Well, another year, another somber anniversary. Today marks 22 years since the September 11th attacks on the World Trade Center. Alice Barr has more.
Today, as the nation pauses to remember
Jeremy Joseph Ahern.
Names of the lives forever stopped on September 11th, 22 years ago, filled the silence.
We love you. We miss you. We can't replace you.
From the World Trade Center in New York to the Pentagon and Shanksville, Pennsylvania, loved ones sharing deeply personal memories.
You are forever our hero and angel.
From a vast web of loss that stretches across America.
You may have been torn from us that day, but your love
and memories will never be torn from our hearts.
President Biden returning to the U.S. from Vietnam, stopping at a military base in Alaska, paying tribute to the many soldiers who joined in response to the terror attacks that claimed nearly 3,000 lives and reshaped American foreign policy. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin speaking from the Pentagon.
We will always work to keep America safe, and we will always, always remember.
In a painstaking process, the remains of 2 more 9/11 victims have now been identified, but more than 1,000 families still wait, speaking the names of those they lost.
Love you, Phil. Talk to you later.
To ensure they never fade away. This story of loss is ongoing. The Uniformed Firefighters Association says there have now been nearly as many New York City firefighters who've died of post-9/11 illnesses as the 343 who died in the attacks. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
The death toll continues to climb in earthquake-ravaged Morocco. More than 2,600 people have died so far, and another 2,500 have been injured. Chris Livesey reports from Marrakesh.
Rescue workers from Spain joined emergency crews and canines in Morocco amid the golden window to find survivors. This bulldozer arrived to clear roads blocked by rock slides, as others, including this 66-year-old man, used his hands to try to rescue people, including his own sister. Much of the damage from Friday's 6.8 quake is centered south of Marrakesh, an area not known for major earthquakes. Footage across Morocco captured the moment the North African country erupted into panic, sending a wedding and restaurant patrons dashing to safety. As the search for the living continues, many are already mourning the dead. This man lost his 7-year-old son in the disaster. I told my wife to take him to his room to sleep, he said. As she came back outside, the earthquake happened and the ceilings fell on him. Those who survived have spent the night in the open air, afraid to go home because of aftershocks. The Moroccan government has set up camps to help those displaced and is vowing to compensate those affected by the most powerful tremor in the region in more than 100 years. Chris Livesey, CBS News, Marrakesh, Morocco.
And in travel news, possible engine trouble forced a Hawaiian Airlines plane to make an emergency landing at Haneda Airport in Tokyo last Friday. The aircraft departed Haneda, Tokyo at about 8 p.m. local time, bound for Honolulu. According to Hawaiian Airlines, approximately 1 hour later, the flight encountered unexpected turbulence, followed by an indication of a possible fault in one engine. Officials said the plane returned to Haneda shortly after 10 p.m., where it landed without incident. Hawaiian Air said one passenger was evaluated on board for an ankle injury and one flight attendant sustained minor injuries.
All right, here's a live look at the new eruption in Halemaumau crater.
Wow.
So beautiful, always an exciting time. But as you can see, lots of fog being generated there by those vents. And of course, the question, people with breathing problems or if you live downwind, they want to know what's the fog situation going to be like. So we're here bringing in meteorologist Drew Davis to give us an update on that, Drew.
Aloha. We've got a new VOG model here in the Hawaii News Now First Alert Weather Center. I want to show you the data that we just got from the most recent model run from the UH Manoa campus. They provide a lot of good data. So this is our volcanic haze model, VOG. So I'm going to zoom into the Big Island to see most of the VOG is on the southeast side of the island, right near Kilauea, is relatively light compared to what we've seen with past eruptions. So we're going to go further in time. This is Tuesday at 9 a.m. Keep going. You can see that kind of dark color. That's just the atmospheric plume coming from Kilauea, but it's not very heavy, not very dangerous. It's light VOG for right now. Of course, these conditions can evolve as we continue forward in time, but it's relatively light right now. So what you can do to be prepared, stay indoors, use air conditioning if that's available to you, and of course, monitor the winds. You can do that by looking at the Hawaii News Now First Alert Weather app. We've got that on the app. You can see the most recent wind conditions always. Right here, here's winds right now. Relatively breezy. That's going to be the story. It's the typical trade winds for now. We'll be back in just a little bit, and Guy Hoggy will have your full forecast coming up after the break.
actually going to be pretty nice. Now, we could use more rain. We went over the drought monitor earlier. Many places in the state suffering from drought, severe to moderate drought. Now, there's no significant rainfall expected, although you see all this, it's going to come in on Sunday. That's when we will likely see a few more significant showers. And all this is what's left over from former Hurricane Hova, which is now just down to that massive moisture. So over the next 7 days, don't expect a lot of rain, but it's not going to be totally dry. We'll have trade wind conditions. Surplus of winds, though, 15 to 25 today. It's going to be windy. Still windy, but not much. Less so on Tuesday and Wednesday. Winds running 15 to 20 miles an hour. So that's the extent of the breezy winds. And then on Thursday, the winds back down. We still will get a few windward and Mauka showers. There's still going to be a little hint of a trade wind breeze. So air quality should be good. And then the leftover moisture from Hova Sunday into Monday. Although we're not expecting a washout, we are expecting more rain, which will help with the drought. The other thing to watch out for, parts of Hawaii Island will start to get fogged now that Kilauea is erupting.
Today also marks 31 years since Hurricane Iniki struck Kauai. It was the most destructive storm in Hawaii's recorded history and generally considered our worst natural disaster before the wildfire swept through Lahaina. Iniki made landfall on Kauai as a Category 4 hurricane with sustained winds of 145 miles per hour with gusts upwards of 225 miles per hour. It completely devastated parts of the island, but the resiliency of the Kauai people showed through as they recovered in the years that followed.
In Pennsylvania, convicted killer Danilo Cavalcante has once again managed to slip past a police perimeter. Authorities are bringing in more officers after he managed to steal a van. And as Brandon Goldner tells us, Cavalcante has also changed his appearance.
He is very determined. We are even more determined.
Convicted killer Danilo Cavalcante has left authorities scrambling again after he managed to slip past police this weekend.
No perimeter is 100% secure, ever. I'm not going to make an excuse to you. I wish it had not happened.
Police say Cavalcante stole a dairy delivery van Saturday night and drove about 25 miles to a former co-worker's house, where a doorbell camera spotted him with a new look. Now clean-shaven and wearing a bright green sweatshirt, he made a second attempt at another co-worker's house, apparently looking for help evading authorities both times.
He will take advantage of any opportunity to obtain items he needs.
The van was found ditched in a field Sunday morning, likely abandoned because of low fuel.
He's been crafty, staying really in the woods down near the creeks, but it sounds like the law enforcement has really closed in.
Jason Masaryk lives nearby.
Folks are really vigilant around here. You've come to our back road, out here in our woods, we're going to help find you. We're going to get you.
Cavalcante's been spotted at least 10 times since he broke out of prison on August 31st while awaiting transfer to serve a life sentence for murdering his ex-girlfriend.
I'm confident we will identify where he is.
Law enforcement is pleading with the public to report any sightings of Cavalcante, to check their home surveillance cameras. Remember, there's a $20,000 reward for information leading to his capture. Brandon Goldner, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Well, in economic news, the president of United Auto Workers say they remain ready to negotiate in Detroit. General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis have until midnight on Friday to reach a deal with the union to avoid a costly strike. Ivan Rodriguez breaks down the details.
Another major strike is on the horizon, this time with America's 3 unionized automakers. If no deal is reached, more than 1 week of automakers going on strike could cost the economy billions of dollars. The success of these negotiations is also a concern for President Biden. Time is running short to avoid a historic strike at America's 3 unionized automakers. Union members are fighting for increased wages, restored pensions, and protections against job losses as production shifts to electric vehicles.
These negotiations are serious and they matter. The outcome impacts all of us.
Just 10 days of an auto workers' strike on all 3 companies could cost the U.S. economy $5 billion, according to consulting firm Anderson Economic Group.
We measure that as a positive, that corporations are doing well, but if they're not putting that money back into their companies and back into the workers and back into the economy, then there's no benefit for their profits.
We've seen at least 70 strikes in the last year, with 100 or more workers participating for more than a week, according to a Cornell University database. a 40% increase from the year prior.
I think this has been building for a while.
And they are enjoying overwhelming support from the public. A record high 61% believe unions help rather than hurt the U.S. economy, according to a recent Gallup poll.
The issues that unions are going on strike about and organizing over resonate with the public. The idea that corporations are making huge profits during times when workers are really suffering.
If a strike occurs against all three automakers, it would be unprecedented. Typically, the union has gone after one specific automaker at a time, and even if a strike occurred, it would typically remain on the job at the two other automakers. This would also be the nation's largest strike by active employees in 25 years. In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
Charter and Disney's rowdy negotiations are done. The two companies reached a deal at the 11th hour just before the premiere of Monday Night Football on ESPN. Charter's nearly 15 million cable TV subscribers have been without access to ABC, ESPN, and other Disney-owned channels for days as the companies clashed. Those channels will now be restored. Disney Plus was at the center of the gridlock. Under the deal, Charter subscribers will get access to the advertiser-supported tier of the streaming service. It could pave the way for similar deals between cable providers and streaming companies.
We want to go ahead and give you some news just into our newsroom. Our team is tracking an apparent bomb threat in Iwilei. We got a note from Honolulu police around shortly after noon. They are responding to 525 Alakawa Street. Of course, that is the very busy Costco Iwilei. Our crew is heading to the scene and we're working to gather more details. Once again, a bomb threat was reported in the Iwilei area. We will bring you any details on this as soon as we get them on our digital platforms.
Yeah, you know, the Costco there is always so busy. So if you were thinking of going, avoid the area because it's going to be even worse than it usually is.
Most definitely.
Yes.
We want to take you back now to Kilauea. Just take a look at the beautiful activity there. Pelehonua Mea, the fire goddess here, is really putting on a show. And this kind of caught a lot of people by surprise, aside from the scientists, because they have been monitoring activity at Kilauea for several weeks now. Around the time of the Maui wildfires, they also started giving us the heads up saying, hey, we are tracking some rumbles, some activity in recent weeks. We've also heard about earthquakes that have been rumbling parts of Hawaii Island, and that all culminated in this eruption that we are experiencing right now. So beautiful to witness this once again. Kilauea is erupting.
Yeah, and our Casey Lund was very excited to get on a plane as soon as it happened.
Lucky him. Oh, well, we're going to end today with a moving ceremony. We're going to take you back to New York City again. Today marks 22 years since the horrific attack on the World Trade Center. Let's go ahead and listen in now. Thank you so much for watching Hawaii News Now.